and welcome to Mythic Championship 4 here in Barcelona in Spain. Rich Hagon alongside Maria Bartholdi and Eduardo Sutcliffe, part of your coverage team here this weekend. So much to get through. Eduardo, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
We haven't had really a chance to explore what Modern has done to the format enough, I feel. War of the Spark, M20, and of course Modern Horizons have massively changed the landscape of the format. Kind of in ways we haven't really seen since its inception in 2011. So I'm really excited to see how the top players take it on.
Maria, you're traditionally a fan of the limited rounds. Is that true this weekend as well?
That is absolutely 100% true, Rich. Modern Horizons is an awesome draft format. A lot of people at home probably haven't played a lot of it, so it's going to be an awesome chance to get to see this format on the big stage.
So let's walk through the schedule and the formats coming your way this weekend. Maria.
Well, of course, we are kicking things off on Friday with 3 rounds of booster drafts. So if you're a draft fan, come here in the morning. Then, of course, it is all hands on deck for Modern in rounds 4 through 8. And that is Swiss pairings and best of 3 matches, meaning you play people on the same record as you. Then we come back on Saturday, rounds 9 through 11. Once again, booster draft to kick off your morning, and then Modern in the afternoon. Sunday, top 8, all Modern, all the time, single elimination, best of 5 matches.
All right, but each morning begins Friday, Saturday with Limited, with Modern Horizons. And to mark your card for a little bit about what Limited has to offer, here's our dynamic Limited duo, Paul Cheon and Marshall Sutcliffe.
And we'll go, there's Paul Cheon, Marshall Sutcliffe, and boy, we were just talking about Limited here, Paul, and we've got really what ended up being one of the most complex and deep formats ever for Limited at this event.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that was kind of the intention of, the designers when they were designing the set. It was kind of like, hey, let's take a look at all of kind of the mechanics, the beloved mechanics of the past, and jam it all into one set. So for all the extremely enfranchised Magic players out there,
they love
this is going to be great. For example, this set I feel like was made specifically for me, because I'm looking at this, I'm like, I remember that mechanic, I remember Suspend, I remember Dash, this is great, but at the same time, it's extremely complex.
Yeah, there's actually 45 plus mechanics packed into this one set. And that's not something, normally when you see a set, there'll be 3, 4, maybe 5. This one has 45. It is a whole new level, and it's really going to challenge our players to not only understand those in-game interactions, but also the archetypes as they sit down to draft.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about that. That's 45 mechanics. And there's a very good chance that even for, some of the players who have, qualified for this event, they weren't familiar with all of this. So they had to learn what rebound is or what, suspend is and kind of relearn a lot of those things. But I think that's also what makes this format fun and interesting as well, because every game plays out differently. There's so many different mechanics, and there's a lot of different archetypes you can draft in this format as well.
That's right. I think the only people more excited about this format than him and I are the players who get to draft it. We'll send it back to the desk.
Mythic Championship 4, of course, is not just an individual tournament. It is also the culmination of our Team Series season. And here, with more about that and who's in the lead, Rich Hagon.
Thanks, Maria. All right, so this is the end of the Team Series. The top 2 teams advance to the Team Series finals in Las Vegas later this summer. Now, if we get to our big board, we'll show you the top 16 teams, but I've got to be honest here, it really isn't about the top 16, because 9th, Mastrock MTG, you follow Harry, your Axe in 12th, down to Baguette, Tasty, Eureka, 75 points. Realistically, they need at least 2 people to make the top 8, maybe as many as 3 if they're going to overhaul the leaders. Now, there's something else working in favor of the team on this side of the board as I show you the top 8, because all 8 here get to bring the full 6 members of their squads to this event, and they all score. So it's a huge deal. They're the only teams for which that's true, and therefore, realistically, the top 2 will come from the current top 8. So here's where we stand. Harry, your sword, 122 points. They're in the lead, not just by 10 points from the second place, but more importantly, by 16 points from the teams in third, because there's no prizes for finishing first. You just have to be in the top 2 to advance to the Team Series finals. So they're in great shape, a full 16 points clear of Ultimate Guard and Legion in joint third. Channel Fireball, they're the ones in the hot seat, because on 112 points, 10 points behind Harry Your Sword, they're not really looking forward, they're looking behind at the teams who can overtake them. So right now, they need a good, strong finish. Now, if you look at the next 3, Ultimate Guard, Legion, and then KMC Genesis, they're all in a very similar position. Here they are, looking at somewhere in the 6 to 9 point range. to get past Channel Fireball. How would they do that? By putting one extra person into the top 8 over whatever team Channel Fireball can manage. Now that's pretty hard when you think you've got Luis Scott Vargas and Paulo Vida Dama de Rosa and Martin User and Ben Stuck and just all those great names. Mike Sigrist is in that team as well, Josh Layton. You've got to do better than them by at least one top 8, realistically, to overtake them. But Ultimate Guard, Legion and KMC Genesis all have great players. One note about KMC, if you're following Brad Nelson on Twitter, you know he's not with us this weekend. Passport issues mean KMC Genesis are down to 5. But then, teams 6, 7 and 8, 93 and 92 points, Cardboard Live, that's Andrew Ellenbogen and the team. Mage ex-MTG Mint Card, that's the Danes, Simon Nielsen and the crew. And then the comic book store, they've got the likes of Alexander Hayne, Wyatt Darby, Andre Strasky. But they might need someone like Hunter Cochran to come to the party, or Jonathan Sukenik as well, because those 3 teams probably need 2 more top 8 finishes or 12 and 4 finishes than Channel Fireball if they're going to be undertaken. So fundamentally, Harry Sword, great shape, every chance of becoming one of the 2 teams. And then this huge fight from Channel Fireball on 112 down to the comic book store on 92. Who gets the top 2 slots? We'll tell you as the weekend progresses.
Thanks, Rich. Lots of exciting stuff to look forward to this weekend. Of course, not the least of which is Modern. But what can we expect in this format with the release of Modern Horizons? It might have something to do with an 8-8 on turn 2. For more, I turn to Riley and Eduardo.
Thanks, Maria. Yes, indeed. Hogak, the Arisen Acropolis, is the flavour of the week. Flavour of the month, very much, Eduardo. And we're expecting to see a lot of 8-8s trampling through the red zones in the feature match area. But plenty of other contenders. Is it Phoenix? We've got Tron decks. We've got Humans, White-Blue Control. Still a characteristically mixed bag in this Modern format at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Although a lot of players, the 8-8 Menace, Trample.
8-8 Trample, yeah.
Of
It's
course.
easy to get those keywords mixed up. Yeah, of course you can.
In truth, everybody's at least prepared for it. If you're not playing it, you have to be ready to beat it. And one of the big things that indicates that is that Tron actually is less the flavor of the month and much more Eldrazi Tron, which can get, using those mid-range creatures to buy time to get to something like Karn the Great Creator into Ensnaring Bridge off the sideboard. Players are really engineering themselves to beat the Graveyard Menace. And sometimes these graveyard decks also engineering themselves to beat the Mirror. Players with main deck Leyline of the Void.
Yeah.
They're getting ready. People are ready for the graveyard.
The format is really starting to eat itself by its own tail, of course, but it's still, as I say, a fairly open field. We've got Scapeshift still kicking about. We've got Mardu Pyromancers. Now with 2 Pyromancers, now with Seasoned and Young Pyromancer. We've got Goblins getting it done as well, at least.
Sweet.
So there's going to be a lot of very sweet decks in the feature match area throughout the weekend. Of course, no one is pretending that Hogak isn't chucking those punches around with the best of them, but Eduardo, there is still going to be a lot of meat on those bones as we explore what's going on with Modern this weekend.
Right. One of the things of Modern, okay, you got your top decks, probably half the metagame in about 6, 7 decks. But then you have what happens in every Modern tournament, the slew
decks
of everything.
It's ridiculous.
And it's what makes it a wonderful format. I mean, it's the fact that you can go, because there's how many years? 8th edition's 2003. There's 16 years worth of cards here, so people can really tune their decks with some of the most obscure stuff that's out there, and come up with new strategies. And that's what it's what keeps happening even at the highest level.
Well, we're going to see exactly what that highest level looks like this weekend here at Mythic Championship, Barcelona. Back to the desk.
Well, this is Mythic Championship 4, and by my reckoning, whether you're using Roman numerals or good old Arabic, that probably means we've had 3 already. Maria, what happened in MC1?
All right, so for MC1, we are, of course, in Cleveland, USA, and Autumn Burchett was the champion here with Mono Blue just piloting the deck like an absolute boss. It really felt like their tournament to win, and they did in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. So Autumn Burchett was our first Mythic champion. Tim, you and I share a nationality, among many other things, and it was great to bring the travelling circus that is the Mythic Championship to our home city of London.
Absolutely, yeah. In London, we had a Modern tournament. We had, in principle, kind of the same sort of format that we got right now, but in practice, my goodness, has the format changed. Eli Loveman was able to pick up the trophy there with some spectacular play with his Humans list. Be very interesting to see whether or not Humans can still make the grade here in Barcelona.
Yeah, and what an incredible achievement it would be, because we always game out the stories. If Luffman could win back-to-back modern Mythic Championships,
good.
I mean, you know, it'd be so exciting just to see him down the stretch on Saturday in
Absolutely.
contention. So that was Mythic Championship 2. Then we went to Las Vegas, Nevada for Mythic Championship 3. And there, the top 4 featured Kai Buddha, one of the greatest players of all time, Brad Nelson, Shahar Shenhar, a phenomenal lineup, and an unheralded Argentinian, Matias Leverato. But you know what? He really knew his stuff, and as the days and the rounds ticked on by, he kept demonstrating it. He really knew where his Nexus of Fate needed to be, and he got there. So the Argentinian joins the likes of Luis Salvato at the top of the game. He is your reigning Mythic Championship champion from Las Vegas. So now we come to Barcelona for MC4. Will it be Loveman? Will it be Leverato? Will it be one of the KMC Genesis team trying to get to the top of the team series? Well, for all the answers, you need to be right here at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning local time, because the fantastic next chapter in the pro season is about to begin. For everyone on the team, saying hi, and we'll see you in the morning.